Hey, do you know what time it is? That's right. It's time for Coach Lindy's podcast. The podcast to get you moving. Hi, I'm Lindy Hutchinson, a certified life mastery consultant with the Brave Thinking Institute. As a life coach, I help others transform their life as I have mine. It's not easy, but it is possible, and it most certainly is worth it. Each week, I'll share insights that inform, inspire, and ignite in you your desire to create a life that you love. So let's find out what's going on this week. Hi, and welcome to Coach Lindy's podcast. I am privileged and honored to be with you again today. This is episode 21, and our books for Smarty Pants selection is The Power of Decision by Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. This is another book that is considered a must-have for your personal development library. It is talking again about our responsibility and our joy in being able to create a life that we love. So a little bit about the good doctor, Raymond Charles Barker. He was born in 1911 and he passed in 1988. He grew up and spent a lot of his time in New York. He was a leader and an author in the New Thought spiritual movement. He was also the president, one of the youngest presidents in the International New Thought Alliance, and he wrote many books and pamphlets and articles. He did a great deal of teaching. He was very influential during his life, and his classic book, Treat Yourself to Life, is used in the religious science classes yet today. So very influential, and he also talks about the subconscious, how we can do treatments. He has spiritual treatments that he did in helping people break down limiting patterns, thought patterns, and how you could create new thought patterns and eliminate lack, limitation, and happiness can be created, and in entertaining amazing new ideas that you may have not even realized were there. But once we let go of those limiting thoughts, now we can really enjoy real creativity. Some highlights of the book largely is emphasize the significance of our responsibility in creating our life, and that's a good thing. There's so many times we see people protesting because their rights are being limited and being stepped on, and they want their voices to be heard. Well, the fact is, in our personal life, we have a lot of power. We just need to step into that position and understand that when we make a decision, there's a result. Good, bad, or ugly, there's going to be a result. So if we take ownership of our decisions, then we can determine the direction of our life, which is very good. So we want to get a mindset and a belief that empower us and head towards our goals and in the direction of our aspirations. Doubt and fear is something everyone experiences, and we need to understand that we can overcome those. And by developing self-confidence and trust in our own decision-making process, we will make the right decisions, and even when things pop up that are negative, we can handle them. And learning from our mistakes, instead of assigning a bunch of guilt and shame to a mistake, look at it as a learning opportunity. What did we get from that? And by that, we're using a growth mindset. Instead of saying, oh, I don't ever want to try that again, it didn't work out. It's like, no, you may want to try that again. Just learn what happened that wasn't right, because it may be successful the next time you do it. we can refine our decision-making skills over time. So 2 quotes from the book. The decision to let go of that which has completed its course in your experience is even more important than the decision of welcoming new ideas. So we need to let go of stuff that doesn't serve us anymore. Also, you are not the victim of the world, but rather the master of your own destiny. It is your choices and decisions that determine your destiny. So we like to think, well, no, my life isn't that great because I had a bad childhood, or this happened to me, or that happened to me. And those things may be unfortunate, but the one who really is directing the course of our life is us, ourselves. And we need to take responsibility. As we take responsibility, then we can control what we're doing. So here's a few key little tidbits from the book. This is on page 13 under the intelligence factor. Reverse your mental image. He says, I am writing this book for people who want to create their own good and not to have it created for them by others. They are willing and able to accept the responsibility for their own mental actions. They refuse to dodge alibis induced by their own consciousness. They face themselves, correct their own thought, and create their own heaven on earth. That sounds nice. So, this is the do-it-yourself. Listen to yourself and start being aware of what's holding us back and listening to those creative ideas that propel us forward. For those of us who tend to be pleasers, this is in the chapter Indecision. Stop asking for advice. That's the subtitle. For those of us who are constantly trying to make everyone happy, here's a note. The chronic advice seeker is a sorry soul. The inability to accept the responsibility of running your own mind may well be the major sin of life. It is a pattern that can be broken. I have known many people who've done this. Not easily, but with wise counseling, they saw themselves in a new light. They accepted the first principle of individuality, which is self-determination. So it's okay to ask for advice. In fact, most of us should be asking advice, but it's the right source, and it's not really to just get people's opinions. What do you think of this? What do you think? What do you have? It's kind of like you need to go with what your heart and your mind say, and as long as it's not illegal, immoral, or fattening, as my dad used to say, then go forward. If that's your dream, if that's what you're working on, then move forward. Here's another good note in the book, Decide to be Creative, on page 161. He says, go to a nearby public park and take time to really look at the trees. Not one of them is average. Each one is distinct, different, and has its own personality. The creative power did not make one tree. Its idea of tree, like all its other ideas, is one of infinite variety. Each full-grown tree has total self-expression and uniqueness. It is not like any other tree. Now think of your consciousness and ask yourself if it has any uniqueness in it. Are there any creative ideas in it? If not, then you are an automation. The world, your relatives, your friends, and your employer tell you what to do when you do it. They pull the strings of the puppet, and the puppet dances to their tune. Emerson wrote in his essay, Self-Reliance, whosoever would be a man must be a nonconformist. He who would gather immortal palms must not be hindered by the name of goodness, but must explore if it be goodness. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. So the power of decision, taking responsibility for our decisions and realizing the joy that we can make our dreams come true. So that is our top banana, Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. And our word for the week is decide. We don't want to keep dreaming and wishing and hoping. We need to make a decision. And our train the brain thought for the week is launch your dream, decide, and act. And from our Hey That's Funny file, from Steve Martin. Before you criticize a man, walk a mile in his shoes. That way, when you do criticize him, you're a mile away and you have his shoes. Thank you, Steve. Always a joy. So that's it for this week. Thank you for joining me again. And remember that you're worth your dream and you need to keep pursuing it, bringing it into fruition because you deserve to create a life that you love. Have a great week and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for joining me this week. I look forward to being with you every week. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, please email me at coachlindy@lindyhutchinson.com. My name is spelled L-Y-N-D-I, so it's Coach Lindy, L-Y-N-D-I, at Lindy Hutchinson, LYNDIHUTCHINSON.com. I value what your input is, and I'm always open for suggestions and ideas. If you will like and or subscribe to this podcast, that would be wonderful. I appreciate it. And I enjoy anything that you might want to send in, or if you would like some more information about coaching, send me an email and I will get back with you and we'll talk about how you can create your best life. Have a good week. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.